Welcome back to some more RWBY fanfiction reading. And after a break of drinking a warm or room temperature Pepsi and watching some science-y videos, we're back on track. Yeah! I don't know what any of those things have to do with this, but we're on to the 4th chapter of the Ruby Beach alternate universe story. Why didn't I write this down before? Oh my goodness. Oh god. Jeez. Wow. Should have done that before. So, hope you're ready, because we're going to get into some stuff. I actually don't know anything about the story still, like I said in the last one, so I don't exactly remember what happened. I just know there's some weird stuff and shopping and I don't know. I probably should have said what I knew, but I think I didn't want to ruin anything. You know, more sleepovers, that type of thing. It's basic stuff as far as I know. No weird stuff I don't want to read, so I think we're good. Well, as far as I know. I don't know anything anyways, so chaotic morning. Time skip to morning after the last episode where, they had a nice talk and, cat and whatever. Anyways, Yang awoke to find her arms wrapped around Blake's waist, her face in the girl's dark locks. She smiled at the sight of the Ravenette's peaceful, sleeping face. Blake's face was still buried in the crook of Yang's neck, her arms draped over Yang's torso. This will be a mess when we get up. Oh well, if I had to be tangled with someone, I'm glad it's Blake, thought the blonde who drifted back to sleep a few minutes later. Yang, get up, Ruby whined from her bunk, only getting a slight snore in response. She sighed, looking below to see if Weiss was awake. Weiss, she whispered. Or, Weiss, she whispered. Weiss stretching. I'm sorry, did I awake you? Ruby asked, not that she cared that much. She was just lonely with no one to talk to. But she had also felt bad for how she acted last night. Weiss mumbled, still half asleep. I was awake, I just kept my eyes closed. Why, is something wrong? She asked, rubbing her eyes once again to clear her blurred vision. Ruby quietly moved down to Weiss's bunk so that they could whisper to each other as they wait for Yang and Blake to get up. I'm sorry for how I acted last night. God. I think my brain is just messed up. Like, I'm just thinking of other things, and it's not working. I don't know what I can do about that. Or the fact that I'm just illiterate, so, And I'm sorry for how I acted last night. I was just embarrassed. Weiss sighed. Ruby, you dork. She gave a small smile. You can be such a child sometimes. Weiss ruffled Ruby's hair, causing Ruby to pout, then crack up. Soon the both of them were trying to contain their laughter to not wake the two huddled together on the other bunk. Blake's cat ear twitched as Yang groaned. So much for trying to keep quiet. You stink, Blake mumbled jokingly. Yang actually smelled like the ocean, probably from being at the beach and in the ocean most of the time. So do you, Smelly, Yang jokingly replied, although Blake actually smelled like nice scented lotion. Wow. They struggled for a minute to untangle their limbs. At one point, their faces weren't even an inch apart. They were so close that their noses almost touched. The girls blushed before trying to pull away to avoid the awkward situation. Despite how bad they actually wanted to be that close, for their lips to connect, for them to actually be together, cuddling as a couple. The two trying to pull away resulted in Blake falling off the bed and onto the floor, with Yang, who landed on top of her to make matters worse. It seemed like hours until extending a hand to help Blake up. The Ravenette accepts taking her hand, being pulled up to her feet. She joined the others in their fit. It didn't take long for the laughter to die down, since it was more awkward for Yang and Blake, and it was a funny accident for Ruby and Weiss. Took you too long enough, Weiss commented, a hint of annoyance in her voice. Yeah, well, you know, some people like to sleep in on their day off, Blake replied. Whoa, now, ladies, I think we can all agree that we're well rested enough to head to the beach soon, right? Yang interrupted. I thought we could do some shopping first. Blake and I work at the beach, so we're there more than we want to be. Maybe we can go to the mall for a while before we head to the beach, Weiss suggested. I guess. Then you have to teach Ruby to swim later, then. Yang laughed, although she was being serious. Sounds good to me, Ruby replied, throwing her hands in the air, hitting them off the bottom of the top bunk. I'm in, Blake added, also going to her bag for fresh clothes. Also, where's your bathroom? No one likes cold showers, Ruby interrupted. Actually, I don't mind them, so I'll go last, Weiss offered. Alright then, we gotta make sure to bring our bags to the mall so we can head right to the beach afterwards, the blonde stated, going over to her dresser to pick out light clothes for the hot day. Choosing an orange tank top with a flame emblem on the chest and jean shorts. Ruby did the same, but picked a red tank top with a rose emblem on the chest. A few minutes later, Blake came out of the bathroom, leaving Ruby to run in before Yang could get in. The Ravenette wore a black tank top with a belladonna plant on it, and her usual black bow to cover her white ears. Weiss held up a white tank top with a blue snowflake on it to her chest to see if it would be too long or too short. After all four of them had showered and gotten their stuff together, they were ready to head out. Yang jokingly put on sunglasses with a mustache chained to it, but put them back to get on once. She had to search around for extra pairs of sunglasses for the others before they headed out. Since Yang only had a motorcycle and Ruby didn't get her license, they had to walk for 15 minutes or so before they reached the mall. Glad they could be in an air-conditioned building. Yeah, that'd probably be pretty good. No, not an ad. How could you? What is this? What is this? What is this? This is stupidity. Wow. It's just Sudoku. Why is it like... Jesus. You did it. You can play Sudoku on the internet. Anyways, fun at the mall. The group entered the mall. First, Blake asked, wiping away beads of sweat from her forehead. I was thinking this one store over here, Weiss replied, pointing to a fancy clothing store. Well, that place looks very expensive. What about this one, Yang suggested, pointing to a store with band, anime, and other graphic shirts and hoodies. Ha! Weiss had an uneasy look on her face, but Ruby and Blake liked the idea. The store greeted them with loud metal music. Blake went off to look at fandom shirts. Ruby went to look at funny graphic shirts. Yang looked at sleeveless shirts, and Weiss stood at the entrance. She wasn't sure what to look at. Ruby noticed Weiss was confused, so she went over to her and dragged her where she was looking. She held up a white shirt that had a popsicle with a scarf. It said, I'm too cool. I think this shirt fits you, don't you think? Ruby said with a bright smile. Sort of, Weiss replied, still confused. She was used to buying expensive clothing. Is it because I come off as a cold person? No, that's not it. I was actually referring to your white hair, blue eyes, and snowflake shirt. You're one of the nicest people I know, Weiss, Ruby assured her as she took Weiss's hand in her own. Hey guys, what do you think? God. Hey guys, what do you think of this? Yang shouted, holding up a yellow tank top with black letters that said "Beach Please" with the A as a seashell. Blake walked over to Yang, taking the shirt and holding it up to the blonde. I think it fits you, the Ravenette said, cracking a smirk. Heh, thanks, Blake. Did you find anything? Yang asked, folding the shirt back up. I found a hoodie, but it's too hot for that. Blake replied with a short laugh. You could buy it now and wear it when it's cooler, Yang suggested, hanging to the counter to pay. Which, actually is a smart idea because I think in general, more seasonal things are more expensive during the season than, like, during the off season. Not necessarily everything, but, it's like when everybody needs, when everybody needs like a swimsuit, they're going to be a little more expensive, and, when they don't, they're going to be cheaper. So it's not, don't want to deal with this. Oh boy. No thanks. No thanks. No. Okay, sorry. Anyways. Okay. Blake shook her head. It's alright. It's no big deal, Ravenette said, walking over to Ruby and Weiss. Hey, you two find anything? Not really, Weiss said. Can we go somewhere else now? Yeah. I think Yang's getting a tank top, so when she's... Here you go, Yang said before throwing something at Blake's head. Blake took the clothing off her face to examine it. It was the hoodie she wanted. Didn't have to, but I wanted to. Look, I got one too. The blonde held up the black and yellow striped hoodie in one hand as the other held up her tank top. The Ravenette smiled. Thanks, so ready to go? Yes, Weiss said impatiently. Aw, I just found a cute cat shirt. Okay, Ruby muttered as she was being dragged out by Weiss. Yang and Blake raised an eyebrow before laughing and walking out of the store. Weiss had brought them to a really expensive store and was now trying to get Ruby to try on a red dress with a black bow around the waist and heels. But Weiss, I don't wanna, Ruby whined as she dragged... Pronouns. As she dragged Ruby into a changing room. You want to sneak out while they're in there? Yang asked, turning to Blake. I don't think Ruby will put up a... You don't think Ruby will put up a... You don't think Ruby will put up a fight? The Ravenette replied. Ruby was holding on to the doorway of the girls' dressing room. Weiss is trying to get her to calm down. Never mind, she's doing that now. Well, okay, probably should have split the I'm up there. She probably should have made it into I am. While I'm concerned for my sister, I'm sure she can handle herself for a bit, right? Yang asked with a smirk, holding out her hand to Blake. Blake smiled back. Put it stand. Weiss finally got Ruby into a changing room stall by agreeing that she didn't have to put on heels and that she would buy her a smoothie. Can you at least turn around? Ruby asked, her cheeks a slight pink. I don't see why it matters since we're both girls, but alright, Weiss agreed, turning to face the opposite direction as Ruby took off her shirt. Weiss looked over to the mirror to see the dress off the hook, her shirt still off. Ruby caught her eye, both of their faces went red. That's not fair, Ruby mumbled, unzipping the back of the dress before putting it on. Weiss hesitated for a moment before speaking. Later. Anyways, do you need help? Yeah, can you zip this up for me? Ruby replied, trying to reach for the zipper, but is unable to find it. Weiss nodded her head in reply as Ruby turned around. She lightly moved her fingers down the talk. Tied the bow around the waist and told Ruby to turn around. She looked beautiful in Weiss's eyes. Oh, why did that happen? Okay. I like it. Too bad I'll probably never wear it, and I don't have near enough money, Ruby said with a sad smile. She didn't seem too upset by the fact that she couldn't get it. It was that Weiss had to force her to wear it, and it actually looked decent. I like it too. It suits you, Weiss admitted, holding Ruby's hand, their faces back to a blush. You know, if you really want it, I could get it for you, she offered, leaning in slightly. Ruby thought about it for a moment before responding. No, I wouldn't be able to pay you back. She was cut off as she realized she was also leaning in. Their lips connected and they relaxed. There's no need to pay me. There's no need to pay me back. That was enough, Weiss admitted as their lips parted. I'm sorry about that. You can change back now, she added, looking away and pulling her hand away. Ruby felt bad. She really liked Weiss and hoped that wouldn't ruin their friendship if she didn't feel the same. But knowing this is how she felt filled her with confidence. Ruby... God. Please. Ruby changed back into her tank top, putting the dress back onto the hook. Just before Weiss reached the door handle, Ruby took the outstretched hand in her own, pulling the white-haired girl into a kiss. Thank you, Weiss. I guess I'll have to keep doing that if I can't pay you in money, Ruby said, a smile planted on her face. Ruby, you dork. Weiss's lips curved into a smile as she gave Ruby a quick peck on the cheek before opening the door. Their fingers were still intertwined as Weiss paid for the dress. Ruby... Oh, come on. Ruby carrying the bag out of the store. Wait, it hit Weiss. Where are Blake and Yang? Hey... I'm at the smoothie stand. Where you plan to go? Anyways. Alright, fun with friends. Ruby looked back to the store they had just came from. Weren't they back at... Hey guys, what took you so long? Yang shouted, taking a sip of the smoothie. Blake pulled it towards her before Yang could take another sip. I thought we agreed to share it. Heh, sorry, anyways. I see you two bought something, the blonde spoke, raising an eyebrow, going to take a sip from the drink. This time, Blake pulled away the drink by pulling Yang's arm, causing them to accidentally lock a lip, deepening it. Ruby handed the bag to Weiss before walking over to Yang. Yang, we're in public. People might stare, she whispered, tugging on the blonde's tank top. Yang ignored her sister and continued her makeout session, earning Ruby pouted in defeat. Soon the two slowly parted. Well, damn, Yang said, bursting out laughing, as did Blake. Ruby and Weiss followed. Well, people are just gonna have to deal with me if they have a problem. The blonde added after the group's laughing fit. Hey, Ruby, Yang. To the ground by a red-haired girl. Nice to see you too, Penny, Ruby said with a nervous laugh as she sat up. Ah, I missed you. The redhead pulled Ruby into a tight hug, then released her. Sorry I was gone for a while. My dad wanted me to go to this study camp thing for a week, and I kind of forgot to mention it, she said, getting off the girl. It's all right. We kind of figured, Ruby spoke, getting up with Weiss's help. Hey, what about me? Yang interrupted, giving the redhead a bear hug. As Yang released the girl, she gasped for air. Strong as ever, Penny managed to get out. Anyways, I see you two made friends with the lifeguards from the beach. Yang put an arm around Blake and smirked. Yep, she remarked with a smirk. Again, the double smirk. Gotta do it. Perfect. Blake rolled her eyes, but a shy smile was planted on her face. I'm Blake. Nice to meet you, Penny. That's the perfect... Like, that's exactly correct for that noise. The Ravenette was cut off by Penny hugging her. As you can tell, she's a hugger. And this is Weiss, Ruby said, motioning towards the white-haired girl who looked slightly nervous. Hello, if you're going to hug me, could you do it gently? Weiss mumbled. The introductions weren't her strong point. Penny shrugged and gave Weiss a gentle hug as she asked, So what are you guys up to? Nothing really. I got 2 hoodies and a tank top. Weiss, Yang, Jesus, not Weiss. Yang replied before taking a sip of the smoothie. Oh, and if you didn't see Blake and I, the blonde added, winking at Blake, who jokingly pushed her face away lightly. I got to look at funny graphic t-shirts, try on this dress, and kiss Weiss, Ruby blurted out the last part before Weiss had time to react. Her face was a slight red as the others looked at them. Nice job, Ruby, the blonde commented, high-fiving her sister. Oh my god, please. Weiss pouted in embarrassment, but Ruby took a hold of her hand to assure that there was nothing wrong. So when are we leaving? Blake asked, finishing off the smoothie. Oh, in a bit. I want to do something before we go, Yang said, throwing the cup away before dragging Blake over to the kiddie rides, Ruby dragging Weiss and Penny following closely behind. Really, Yang? Blake asked, the blonde, an amused look on her face as Yang got into a small car ride. Hell yeah. Here, come sit beside me, the blonde said, patting a spot beside her before putting a quarter into a slot. Weiss put the bag down beside her as they... Do I have to? Yes, Weiss, you made me wear a dress. I'll make you ride a kiddie ride, Ruby said with a bright smile on her face. Fine, Weiss pouted, giving Ruby's hand a slight squeeze. I just got a call. I gotta get home before my dad finds out I'm not home. I'll see you guys around later, Penny shouted. The others shouting their byes as she ran off. This is so embarrassing, Weiss commented as she got on into another small car ride with Ruby. It's not that embarrassing if you have fun with it, Blake said, laughing as Yang pretended to drive it, making a vroom sound and steering the steering wheel like crazy. Weiss sighed, taking Blake's advice once again. I mean, really, with this type of thing, you just gotta do it. I mean, it doesn't matter what other people think. You just, whatever. Whether it's embarrassing or not, whatever. Just do it. Doesn't matter. YOLO. Not really, but, just... Okay. Time skip. The group walk out of the mall, bags in one hand and holding hands in the other. Sure. Thanks for suggesting the mall. That was fun, Yang shouted, throwing her arm around with Blake's in the air. Can we go to the beach now? Yes, after we drop our stuff off, we can go to the beach. And you, Weiss looked at Ruby as they walked. I'm teaching you how to swim. So, since it's been 23 minutes, we're gonna just not. Oh, no, it's Sudoku. No, not the Sudoku. But why? I don't understand. It like auto-completed stuff. Alright, that's a terrible ad. Anyways, next time we come back, we'll, hopefully I guess I'll try to get done with the last 4 parts as quick as I can, and hopefully a little bit less time than 23 minutes, or almost 24 minutes. Yeah, which, will be the last part of this, at least for now, because I'm not sure if it's, I'm not sure if it's finished. It might not be. It might be. I don't know. It kind of depends, because, it's been a while. But that'll be it for now. Next time, like I said, whatever.